My name is Vince Ainger. I am the host this morning. I think we just heard Debbie Reynolds, did we not? And Donald O'Connor and Gene Kelly. And of course, if you haven't heard Green Spring, Debbie Reynolds passed. I think it was yesterday. We have, where are we? In the studio today. We have Gene Reynolds and Jenny Hibbert-Sparlin from the Choristers. And they're going to talk a little bit about the history and about changes that are being made. And Gene, I'm going to start with you this morning.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us about, I don't know, where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the changes?
Well, shall we start where we are now?
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Wherever you want.
Right now, we're at the point where I am wrapping up 8.5 years of directing the Choristers and being their leader and having a wonderful time. And I need to give somebody else that chance.
Let someone else in on fun.
Yes, so
okay.
Palmer McGrew is going to take it over. And he's been working with us some and doing some directing, so they're kind of used to him. He has a wonderful background, and he will just take the choristers right on up in their training.
Yeah. All right, good, good. And Jenny Hibbert-Sparlin. Jenny Sparlin is with us also. I get the sense somehow, Jenny, that you have something to do with the history.
Well, I started out as the librarian in
Okay.
charge of music, but Gene kept giving me little things to save. So I began a history book, and so we have the beginning, the middle, and now what's going on now. And that's why we have that. When I first got here and began with the Choristers in 2010, I happened to have a meal with Marcia Dake.
Oh, yes.
And she explained to me that she had started the Choristers. And that intrigued me, and so I looked into that.
I think she started Channel 6 also, if I'm not mistaken. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong.
So that was very, very interesting.
Yeah. And now, you have some, in addition, I think, Gene, you also play the organ and the piano.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I play the organ quite often for memorial services at the chapel, and I have played organ for churches. I guess since the time I was 15, I've played organ or piano for a church someplace.
Yeah.
And I also play the piano, and I have the gift of being able to do a lot of playing without having to use music. And it's not playing by ear, it's by memory, because I play them in the same key they were written in.
Yeah. Okay, good. We've got something going on here. Let us in on it, you guys. See, some of the camera guys are just kind of losing their composure here. This aside. Yeah, go ahead, Jane.
So anyway, I've been involved in music all my life, starting at the age of 10, but I had very little training because there just wasn't money for it. So I didn't go to college, and I didn't get a whole lot of training, but it's just been a passion with me and something that comes to me easily. I'm sure it's a gift.
Yeah, sure.
So I planned to direct the choristers, but at that time there were about 25. And they grew and they grew, and we outgrew the music room over at Town Center. So we had to move over to the Acatink room where there was more space. And we have grown now to a very large group. And we have over 50 at every rehearsal. And they come and they're happy and they do whatever I ask them, and we have a lot of fun.
They just show up and sing.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Now, do I remember correctly, you started out with 3 in the Choristers?
No.
No.
That 3 goes back to when my husband, who was a preacher, Bill Reynolds, told me one time after we were married, there's a small church over here that needs an organist.
Okay.
And I should go over and look. I wasn't playing at that time. I was working full time. And I said, he said they have a pipe organ. I said, Well, they will want classical music, and that's not my line. He said, oh, I don't know. Go over and see. So I went over, and it was St. James Methodist Church, young preacher, and they did have a nice pipe organ, but they didn't want classical music. They wanted the old hymns that people my age like. So I took on that job, and it was a paid job. And part of the pay included that I had to have a choir rehearsal every week. I had 3 people in that choir.
Ah, that's where the 3 came.
That's where the
was
3 came
That was
in.
a prior Green Spring experience, yes.
So we did have a rehearsal every week with the 3 and sang every Sunday. And we never did grow much in that church. I was there for 6 years. And then I was called back to my home church to direct a choir there that was 15, and I'd never done that.
Sure.
But the lady had cancer and needed me there, so I not only had to direct 15 of my fellow members that I knew, but also play the piano or organ or both. So that's been good training.
Sure, sure. Jenny, tell us about yourself.
Oh my. I was born in Oregon. I met a guy in college. We married, well, we graduated on Monday and married the following Sunday, and he went into active duty.
I'm sorry, again, you met on a Monday?
We got married. We graduated from college on Monday, and
okay.
were married the following Sunday.
All right, I was going to say,
and
that's
then
all.
he reported for active duty with the Navy.
That sounds like whirlwind. With,
Yes.
Okay, I got
And
it.
during those 2 years of active duty, he went to Japan. And one time he said to me, someday we're going to go live in Japan. And we did.
Yeah.
Lived there for 5.5 years.
Really?
And
Really?
from Japan, we came here to this area.
Yes,
He was an architect.
yeah.
And he wanted to build his own house. He wanted to design it and build it with his own hands.
Sure.
And the house we built was earth covered and passive solar. And that's the house we left after 26 years
Yeah, yeah. And he
to
came
move
in-
to Green Spring.
Yeah, yeah.
So
he
I've
came-
been here now 7.5 years.
Yeah,
He died after just a year of being here.
yeah, yeah.
Then I met Derry Sparlin
Okay.
in the Choristers. And we were married in the chapel, and the Choristers sang at our reception.
So you hang out in the Choristers, some good things happen, I take it. You meet your husband. I hate to say this. Before we came on, Gene asked me if you, Vince, have you ever attended a Choristers concert? I had to say I had not. So when's the next one? The next concert?
It'll probably be in February.
All right.
We're practicing love songs.
Really? All right. When we did the sound check, you see, I quoted a line from a Sinatra song, and I love to quote Thucydides, but he couldn't carry a tune. So that sounds like a good one to attend.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what else do we have you? We've got 5 minutes here, Gene and Jenny. We've got 5 minutes. Fill up 5 minutes for me here. What else is there?
Oh, that's easy to do. I love the choristers, and I could talk about them forever. The choristers come when they can, and they don't have to give us a reason if they can't come. Anytime I meet somebody new, I always say, are you singing? Do you like to sing? We have no tryouts. You just come, and if you don't know what part you sing, we figure it out. We have an unusual part that I never heard of before, and I made it up. I made it up because when I took the choristers over, someone told me that, oh, we have lots of altos. We have lots of altos. But as I started working with them, I realized they weren't singing alto. They were singing the melody an octave low. And so that was still the melody, and we didn't have very many altos. But I had all these people. Now, what am I going to call them? How am I going to serve them the best? And finally, I decided that they were going to be my mellows.
Mellows. Okay.
So they are my mellows, and we have many mellows, and that includes the ladies who sing an octave low, the melody, and the men who sing melody. And most of them, many of them, do not read music. And they don't need to read music because they're just singing the songs as they know. However, they have to watch the director, so we all say the words at the same time, and we sing together. So that's a challenge for them, to not keep their eyes on the notes and on the words, but watch so we're all together. That was the big challenge. And then we have several people who are highly trained who come and sing with us. So we do some singing in parts to satisfy them. So we do all kinds of things, but mostly the songs we grew up with, and that's what they like to sing.
Sure, the old time songs. It occurs to me, if I joined the Choristers, you would have a baritone who could sing solo off key. That would be a hit, don't you think?
No, well, we don't use a part that we call baritone.
Okay.
We have soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And we have a nice section of bass singers, and we need more tenors, and we need lots more altos.
Yeah. But no, you don't feature anyone who sings off key, I suppose.
No, we don't feature off-key singers.
Yeah.
We try to bring them in with the rest.
I'm trying to think of the name of the lady years ago, and I can't think of her name. She was billed as the world's worst female vocalist. And she was huge on television and in places like, New York City, she'd appeared. So no place for a guy like me who sings off tune, off key, really. Okay, so we've got about 3 minutes here. You got to fill up another 3 minutes for us.
Okay, I did not have any training as to what signals to use for anybody,
Yeah.
or how to direct.
Yeah.
All I knew was that I had to try to keep everybody together. And so I did not realize until maybe a year later that my style of directing was that I was actually, with my hands, playing where the notes were. So if it was a low note, I'm here, and then we go to a high note, and we come down. And that was the way I was directing, and I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. But they could follow that very nicely, and they moved when my hand moved, and that turned out to be a really good way to do it.
Yeah, good.
And we always have something going on. We're always planning something. And as I say now, the next takeover is going to be Palmer McGrew.
Yes.
And he will be taking over the first of the year. And he has had a lot more training on directing than I have. So he will take these wonderful choristers and he'll move them up another notch. So you can look forward to that.
Well, you've done well, and you're going to be missed. You're going to be missed. And Jean and Jenny, I thank both of you for coming. This has been fun. And look forward to your organ recitals, and we'll look forward to the Choristers with Palmer
Yes.
McGrew. Again, thank you so much for coming, and we're going to go back to the studio.